Hi, Jay. It's great to meet you in person.
Thanks. It's great to meet you as well.
So I saw you've been given a promotion to be CIO for Blue Distributors. Congratulations. That must have been a lot of hard work.
Thank you very much. It's really been hard work, yeah, but I do love the challenge.
And do you have any significant support from your team?
The department's been great, but everybody seems to have things to do.
Yeah. So, speaking of things to do, let's get down to why we're here today. So, normally the way we do this is we talk about what the company wants, what they might want from you, and any concerns or roadblocks that might be along the way. That sound good?
Sounds great.
All right, so let's get started. I did some digging in on Blue Distributors, and I found that revenues really haven't been growing the past couple of years. Is growth the goal?
Not necessarily. There's a lot of competition in this field, so the corporate focus isn't really on maximizing our profits right now.
And
Oh,
what?
it is. Apologies.
That's fine. So, what do they want from you, from your department?
Well, the CEO wants to cut spending, so I've been instructed with decreasing spending in the IT department by 25%.
That seems like a big number. Do you have a dollar amount that could go with that?
Well, our spending right now is sitting at $12.2 million, so a decrease of a quarter would be a decrease of $3 million.
That sounds like a lot of money. Do you have any concerns with decreasing your budget by potentially $3 million?
Well, I've never really worked in budgeting for such a large company. I think another problem would be trying to figure out where we're overspending.
Yeah, and do you have a go-to place for information, either a person, website? Where do you go for information?
Well, honestly, it's mostly the internet. I've been trying to learn as much about budgeting as I can, but there's a lot to digest.
Yeah, there really is. And most people, I think, start with the internet and Google. It seems to be a great way to get high level information, but sometimes almost too high level, not personalized enough. Is there a deadline you might have to meet?
Well, that's a good question. I have a meeting with the CEO, the CFO, and most of the other department heads in about a month's time. We're all expected to have a budgeting plan that we can share.
A month, that's not a long time. Do you see any problems with cutting budget by that point?
Yeah, there's a lot of concern about it, and it's something that I'm having to think about really every day.
Yeah, so is there anything else that you would like to do?
That's a good question. Yeah. I've seen that our other competitors are really beating us in revenue they get from online contracts. And I really want to have the company invest more in IT.
Do you have any possible concerns or do you see any roadblocks for trying to get other department heads on board with investing in IT?
Absolutely. There's been a lot of pushback. I feel like it's because I'm new to the position in their eyes. I might not have the proper experience to be asking for some of their shrinking budgets. Another thing is that I just don't know anyone who's done this before. I'd really appreciate some guidance.
So there's no one you can really turn to for help here?
Not really.
All right, so I'm going to go over a recap here just to make sure I got it all. So your goals are you have to cut spending and you want to increase investing in IT. And the way you're going to do that is, well, you need some help budgeting. You would like maybe some guidance, and you don't really know the first steps that you might want to take.
Yeah, that's all correct.
All right, so how would you go about cutting budget? What would be a successful budget cut look like?
You know, I think that the biggest thing that would help us would be seeing what our top five competitors have been doing and how they are allocating their IT budgets.
That makes sense. What would you think of a tool that might be able to pull data from all sorts of places and get feedback from companies big and small, not just your competitors, but other people in the same position you are about what they're doing in their IT departments?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
All right, so on to the next one about guidance. So, what would how would you feel about having someone who's been in your shoes before, having them available to help you?
Yeah, I think that'd be great. I'd love to have someone like that to help me.
All right, so those are all great. So I'm gonna show you now what that might look like. So here's a report from other company, we'll let them name anonymous, that on their kind of budget cuts. So does that look like something that you might want?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so it doesn't really take a lot of time to put in. It takes about 30 minutes and it generates the report for you.
Hmm, that sounds really interesting.
And for guidance, how would you feel about having an executive partner, which is basically a former CIO who's been in your shoes before and really has been able to cut budget and increase spending in IT time and time again?
That'd be great, especially if they were in my shoes. I feel like that'd help a lot.
Yeah, and so is there any concerns you might have with going forward with this partnership?
Well, in terms of being comfortable, money security would be the most important thing. I'd really need to see the amount it would cost.
Yeah, that's fair. So money is really hard to come by, and especially when you're cutting budget. So this is what it might look like for our normal plan.
Hmm, hmm. So it's a 2-year contract for 120K. That's a lot more than I was expecting.
Yeah, I understand. I get that a lot from past clients. Everyone thinks that's a lot, but when you really look at how much they've been helped by it, a lot of them tend to agree that it's a fair price.
Yeah, yeah. I think that it would be a lot less. It seems like a great tool, but it's hard to justify this.
Yeah, but another way to look at it might be it's $60,000 and you're looking to cut nearly 3 million of spending.
When you put it that way, it looks a bit better.
So, besides that, is there any other potential concerns you might have with going forward?
Yeah, for sure. I'm concerned that just taking this to my boss might not be enough. I think she might need to see more proof.
And is there anything that I might be able to do to help with that?
I think that if you can show her something like you showed me, then we might be able to move forward.
All right, so I can have a report like I just showed you ready in about a week. Would that be enough for you to maybe get a meeting with the president and maybe a CFO and anyone else that might benefit?
Yeah, I just might be able to do that.
Then I think we're done here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It was wonderful seeing you.